Welcome in to the Real Kings podcast. You are with us once again. We are inviting you to the back room where all the magic happens. I got my man Hawk in the building today with me. What's up, Hawk?
What up, what up?
I got Jim Gordon. What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? Why the back room sound like, remember when you used to go to the Arrows video and they had the room with the curtain?
Yes.
Couldn't go back into
James, you was the only one old enough to go to that back room when it was an Arrows.
No, I think my father took me back there one time. I wasn't supposed to. He was trying to get a video for himself. You can't leave me in the front of the store, so he wanted me to the back.
Go look at the video game, son. I'll be right back.
Nah, taking your son back there to get
that's crazy work
together is diabolical.
I wasn't there with my uncle on them weekends.
Nah, what's good, man? How you feeling?
I'm chilling, man. I'm good. I told you, y'all gotta call me Champ, man.
Like, I'm sorry, Champ.
You gotta change your name, man.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm gonna change it.
Yeah, you got a reminder. Hey, man. But anyway, I want to make sure for the audience, they know we will get to House of the Dragon here momentarily or eventually at some point. Some of us are a little bit behind. Some of us a lot more behind than others.
Right.
So I'm playing catch up at everybody's recommendation. I am probably around episode 5, season 1 or so. It's still there. It's decent. You know, it's got the typical drama and politics or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm as intrigued with this family or this family line, and I hear it gets better as I was with the OG. But I'm on the fence a little bit right now. I'll be honest.
So it's funny, and you had the benefit of watching the OG straight through all the way. But it's funny, when I started the OG, like the first 4 episodes, I was like, this show is dragging. So no pun intended.
No pun intended.
But so I wonder if you will eventually get there. But I will say that I did think that House of the Dragons started. I put the S on it.
I heard it.
The House of the Dragons started slow as well when I first started it. But I was already locked in. Plus, I saw brothers with locks in Westeros. So I was all for
it. Dane Valerian.
Right.
Yeah. But no, it's pretty cool. I think the CGI and stuff certainly looks a little bit better. Obviously, it should have improved or whatever. So that part is cool. But I'll let you guys know when I get caught up here for the audience. And if not, we'll go ahead and get started without me. We'll have a review maybe next week when we check in. That along with is this
Odyssey?
Odyssey, yeah. So
Big boy next week. We might not be talking about that joint at all.
Yeah, that'll be. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So that'll be perfect timing because, some of the language dialogue and dialect chosen for, House of the Dragon versus the Odyssey will probably become a discussion topic or whatever. And just contrasting those two will probably be pretty interesting. But we'll go ahead, James, you were saying?
I was going to say the only thing I had to get used to with House of the Dragon was just knowing that there were no real supernatural elements outside of dragons. Like there's no White Walkers or anything like that.
The biggest element.
You get that right.
James want that monster element. That's what that is.
So I just didn't know if that was something. Because, Game of Thrones, it starts with that. Like the very first opening scene.
Yeah.
And then it kind of dials it back for a couple episodes. But this one, all them jokers is in hibernation.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of hibernation and coming out of it, man, I think Dane finally caught up on the agency. Is that correct?
Yeah, you think you struggling to get through House of the Dragon? That first season of the agency, boy. What did I say? It was like microdosing melatonin.
Yeah.
Every time I put that joint on, boy, I was taking some serious naps, and it was terrible because I had to wait for my family to be down, so I was watching it only at night.
Yeah.
But once I got past probably episode 5, I think episode 6 is where it sort of like caught me, and then I just sort of just dove in after that.
So I'm curious, has that been traditionally true for like real espionage movies and shows where there isn't a whole lot of like, conflict and warfare or anything? Like, have you felt those are dragging and boring?
So it's interesting because when I do watch these shows that are more your lane or more John's lane, it is, I always find myself thinking, why are they more into this than me, and I'm more into Lord of the Rings or
Yeah.
Game of Thrones than y'all are.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of similarities with the pacing and stuff.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
but it's just, I think the basis of it for me is the relationship aspect. Like, I think when earlier this year on the podcast, I talked about how, we ask certain questions when we watch shows and we all ask different questions. I think my question is always why? Like, what is driving you to this? Like, and then with Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, it's always that familial, like, I'm motivated because my family wants to be on top, or I'm fighting for the honor of my sister or the honor of my kids, or all of that stuff, that personable connection sort of draws me in. And a lot of times they live by like a certain honor code. I think that's why the samurai stuff lands with me really heavy too.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think all of that is very similar in those two that you may not get in the militaristic or the espionage thing, because it's almost like you got a directive from the government, go carry it out. And I just can't put myself there
Yeah.
in that way.
I think spy thrillers have to be done well for me to
Yeah.
to be able to sit through more of the like slower
Yeah.
like plot building. But I wanted to ask you that question because I do think it's a thing of preference. Because even though it is a slow build or that it's like a lot of like foundation building with like the agency, I will admit it was a little bit like a slow drink, like, you know what I mean, build.
Right.
But I didn't feel the way you feel.
Right.
But I also know that I could totally understand somebody feeling like that about the show. But I
Right.
felt like, I think for me, tradecraft is just, I don't know if someone's lying. I don't know. And I like seeing well done spy thrillers where they're doing a good job. And I think the agency has been one of the best shows at
And the acting.
explaining trade crap. And then Michael Fassbender is so good at it.
Good.
I mean, he got like 4 movies at this point where he like, I don't know if he's just had this personal interest in it, but he pulls it off so well.
You know what it is?
And what was that one that he was
Everybody's so deadpan, especially Martian.
Yeah.
Like they don't really show a lot of emotion, unless they're undercover and trying to, apply their craft. But for the most part, when they're in the office going back and forth, they're pretty monotone. Like Martian is super monotone, and then
it's emotionless.
That he's been going back and forth with.
Jeffrey Wright's character?
Yeah, what's Jeffrey Wright's character's name? Henry.
Henry. Yeah.
Like even Henry's pretty monotone. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Dang, you didn't, because I thought that maybe what would have drawn you in was the relationship stuff, like between. And
nah, that was just a side piece.
Daughter, but like, and then him and Joni Turner's character, Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, she was just a side piece. I ain't really care about her.
Side piece. She the main one.
She the main
Oh,
one.
he not married. He's just a side piece.
No.
Nah, she's
the mark. She's being used.
Yeah.
Right.
But he gets to, he falls in love. He's not supposed to fall in love with her. So it's like, they don't have any other significant others.
Yeah. Well, I thought she was married.
No.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood it.
She
I thought
was
the first
married
season
to her
country.
No, in the first season she was married.
The first season she was married.
She even explains that she was on her way to get a divorce because she's trying to give herself, some credit for having stepped out, because like it's frowned upon, especially in her country. Like she,
and don't get me wrong, I don't dislike the genre or dislike the agency.
I don't think that.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's just, some things like I like the espionage stuff more than I like the military stuff that John be on. But it's just, it take a little bit more for me to really, really be into it a lot.
I think it's real similar to Game of Thrones and everything else, because you got to establish the world, and then you have to get to know each of these characters and their motivations, and then it makes sense when you start seeing them playing chess with each other. And then that's fun.
But I think it is similar, but I think it's a little more simple for the motives within Game of Thrones, because it's always about the power play. Whereas I think with the CIA, it's so geopolitical.
I don't know what to get behind.
Yeah, it might not even be as overt as like, why are we even interested in Sudan or Somalia right now? Like, what is the U.S. interest? They won't even make that clear. They'll just be like, Martian is in Somalia trying to get this meeting.
And I don't always know if I'm rooting for the good guy or the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. They don't really go into that stuff. So I don't even it's not a plot point that they make prevalent. So I don't even
Yeah,
care
I
about.
think
It's just what we do.
I'm not saying I always have to root for the good guy, but I always like to know where I stand as well. Now that can be something that pulls me in, but if it's not used as a plot point to pull me into this character to figure out am I rooting for this person or am I not rooting for this person, then it sort of just it turns into me like sort of sitting back and waiting rather than getting fully intrigued.
Man, I thought Black Love would have been enough.
There wasn't Black Love.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
We misguided. But
his daughter was pissing me off.
Poppy.
Back and forth because there were moments with, like you said, I was like, man, I don't know if I like Marsha no more. And then I was like, no, I'm back on the train. I don't know if I like it. So it was like as they were going back and forth.
Oh, I definitely didn't like Martian for like half the show.
Betraying his country. You know what I mean? Like he was selling us out, but then
but it was always very clear to me why. I thought that was but I don't know if I can call it honorable considering his job.
Right. So I feel like
I can understand.
Oh no, I was 100% on Henry's side.
Yeah, you fell in love with the mark and betrayed your country. Yeah. Now he didn't think he was doing it to the extent that it ended up being, but it still happened that way. But at least he made up for it.
Yeah. I was when Henry had to take the fall, even albeit short-lived, I was completely out on Martian. I was like, oh, he need to die at the end of this season. Like that's what I was thinking.
But the Brits did that. He didn't do that. That was never even part
it was
of
his fault. It was his fault.
It was part of his accountability.
Right.
But just starting from him being underwater, he couldn't get out of the black hole that he put himself in. But his intention was to save the love of his life. That's
years ago. I was going through some things in a relationship and was trying to figure out what was up and what was down. And I had a cousin give me a phone call because I was feeling bad about the stuff that was going down. And he was like, what are you responsible for in your life? And I was like, what you mean? He said, are you responsible for everything that happens in your life? He was like, no. He was like, so what you responsible for? I was like, my actions. Exactly. Martian's actions led to Henry getting locked up.
No.
Yes.
No. He's accountable. Responsibility means your actions led to it. Accountability
it did. His action did lead to it. He opened the door. He opened the door to let the Brits in.
Exactly.
He fell victim to the power of the P
and responsibility.
He fell victim to the power of the P. Lost his mind. Forgot what he do for a living, and got his man set up. His man who been riding with him since the beginning of his career.
Here's my question. Wasn't he also responsible for where Samia ended up? Was he not directly responsible?
That's his fault. Yeah, all of it was his fault.
So
he the bad guy.
To make that right, he ultimately indirectly led to something happening to him.
His job wasn't to make
his job wasn't to save Samia.
That's a different question.
This is we watching a show about his job. This show called The Agency.
All right, so
that's his job.
You responsible for something you ain't have nothing to do with. It's just an indirect result of something else you did.
Okay, he's accountable and responsible.
Right. So I'm just giving the argument that.
But he ain't accountable because accountability is something you have to accept.
But that's
he ain't accept accountability for Henry.
He did, and he made it right. He made it right. So what are we talking about?
I felt like he was acting like it wasn't his fault.
He didn't even know that was happening.
Oh, right, you're right. Because then that's when he went off the rails and caught my man in the car slipping. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Martian is that dude, man.
But once you were traded,
I still don't like him.
Care about your
he still need to get locked up.
Now that's accountability too. Even though his actions may not have directly resulted in something, he may still deserve to be locked up. I can't argue that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's able to. Well, I guess he is locked up just with the enemy right now.
Yeah,
but I also liked. What y'all think about Viking? I thought he was like, adversary.
Viking, he was like that.
I think I'm just going to talk about logistics. I think they went to the drawing board for season 2 and said, what do we want to do with this show?
Mm-hmm.
And I really am grateful the direction that they chose to like the evolution they decided to take. They toned down the love story stuff a little bit, well, quite a bit, and then gave us a big villain that we could follow through the course of this show. And he wasn't necessarily in every episode. It's like we're still targeting Viking, but they created this persona that was like, wow, this dude is the big bad that we got to get at the end, you know?
He was just as smart as
Yes.
Henry and Martian, and they're playing this cat and mouse game. And like you know, sometimes in movies they'll use, like if we were joking earlier before we record, like little tropes or plot holes or whatever, just to make it so the hero or protagonist wins. They didn't really do that. They made it logical. Like if Viking is as good as these guys, he would pick up on them trying to
Yes.
find his sister, or he would see how bad Owen was as an undercover.
And they gave us a legitimate explanation of how that, because I think the other thing they can do sometimes is prop up a villain and conveniently make them just super like smart and super like, you know, sinister or whatever. They actually gave him motives. They sort of told you how he got trained, how he got isolated, why he was like sort of untouchable. Like you can't just bomb him or put drones over him because he always with like civilians. Like they just did. This show is super smart. So I appreciate all
Did I overlook the fact that they confirmed that he was ex-CIA?
He
Because I know that he wasn't.
He was a Marine.
He was a Marine. Okay, because they were like, he's trained like us, like he thinks like us, but they never explicitly said he's CIA like us. So I wasn't sure.
No, but they implied that they weren't 100% sure, but they were like some of our enemies he's in bed with over the diamond stuff have trained him. Like clearly he's gotten some training in tradecraft at our level from somebody else, and he knows what he's doing. Like
my man was like a bad guy, Jack Reese.
Yeah. But they also didn't just make him a dude in the shadows. Like they made him like, I'm popping heads like a watermelon. Like what was that comedian? Like
Gallagher.
Like to me, that's terrifying. Like the idea that you might cut my head off is less terrifying than that.
Yeah.
Like a sledgehammer.
When they caught my man, what was Owen? When they caught my man Owen, and he was like, "We gotta let him go," and then he threw him on the ground. Anyway, I was like, "What is he about to do?" And then when they came to get him, and they just pulled out the little tarp that was bloody, I was like, "Did he kill him anyway?" Like that joke was crazy.
And like, you going back in one piece? Well, not really. I was like,
and as soft as Owen was, I was kind of impressed. Like he sort of like took that took it on the chin. Like I mean, it's my fault. I asked for this.
But even his character,
he gonna get killed riding for Martian though. Martian gonna get that man killed.
He's a good spy, but it's like they kind of show you like he's learning, he's somewhat new.
It's different levels.
And he's not great yet. Yeah. Even the other Danny, like they all at different stages, and I think that's
that girl a little crazy. What's her name?
The position between him and Danny, like she was so much more successful, even though she was new and learning, and he was kind of stumbling on the way. But they both started season one kind of at the same point, just wanting to get in. Like put me in.
Yeah.
What's her spy name though?
God, what was
the girl? God, you know what I'm talking about? The girl that's in the field.
Danny
is who he's talking about.
I can't even. I'm drawing a blank on her.
These names wild though. Why you at it for real? Like how does Martian get his name? And I think they finally,
I don't think Owen got one, did he?
Nah, Owen didn't have one.
Yeah, he ain't make it to that level.
I know what they gonna call him now. Peg leg.
Pirate.
Right, pirate. Yeah. Oh, that would be so. I'd be so pissed if they named me pirate.
Yeah,
man. See, now if you had a spy name based on some type of physical feature for you personally,
why I gotta be a physical feature?
Right. Why not? What else would it be? Okay, personality trait, whatever it is. Listen here, for somebody who's been joned on his entire life with the paper in his head, I promise y'all, it's not a good thing because I already know all the spy names that they would give me. I'd have heard of my entire life. Conehead, Rockhead, Rock of Gibraltar. Y'all remember that?
Nah.
It was like a scripted letter S you can make in school. You would draw three lines and 3 lines below it, and you do the little connection at the top and it makes like a little peak. Yeah, all of that, bro. All of that.
I would the simplest name is Rocksteady. That's what I would call you.
Rocksteady
From Ninja Turtles. He used to crack stuff with his head.
Yeah. Oh, her code name was Gremlin.
Gremlin, that's what it was.
yes.
Because it was Martian and
Gremlin.
Gremlin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love, if you had a code name, if you worked in the spy world, what was your code name?
Well, I did. I retired, remember? So
that's why I say Love got like 5 names in the chat. He had to retire names at least 3 times.
So I had to come up with a new one. So I've kind of had some feedback about me and who I am through various different circles of friends, and it's always this common theme of being like not so one-dimensional. And or I think oftentimes, not that people are one-dimensional, but I do think that extroverts tend to be more, wear their emotions on their sleeve, just kind of be who they are and be like, but I think people that's more introverted, you got to figure out. So I think mine would be Onion.
You got pills, you got layers.
Yeah.
I like Onion.
What you say? What you say, James?
He was thinking something else.
I was just thinking about the some of the bad things associated with the onion, like the smell. Like, I'd be kind of blown.
I mean, but I was really basing it off of the theology. The fact that when we're watching Agency, there ain't necessarily an overt or obvious connection to the name. It's just you don't know who they talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I hope my underarms will be all right. I
know. Martin's personality, like he do seem like
alien,
especially as good as he is. They be like, man, he ain't from here.
Right.
Yeah. Different.
I thought they said that in this season.
They said it was a computer somewhere that picks their names, but it's based off of what information it has about the person and their personality, all the testing they take and all that stuff.
So Dane, if you had a code name, what would the computer pick for you?
I mean, if it's trying to do something that I wouldn't get caught, it'd probably call me something like Polar Bear, because nobody would expect me to be a white animal. But but it would probably. It's funny, we were just talking about that whole honor code and stuff like that. I could see mine being something like Samurai, just because I would probably
we've been
live by a certain code
from day one.
Just makes sense.
Double entendre. That would be dope.
I'd rather be Valerian than Bishop. As far as the spy.
Oh, just wait. People gonna call you that. People gonna be calling you that.
James,
this season X-Men 97.
Right. James, you've seen Generation After Generation. I know you got something interesting.
Well, that's probably a good one. Vampire.
Yeah. That was mine. That was mine. It's pretty easy.
That's perfect.
That or Dracula, Blackula.
Hey, see the worst one, actually the best joke I've heard about the thing that sits on the top of my shoulders. The little kid said to me this: if you don't have video, you can't see what I'm doing right now. That's it. That's what my head looked like.
So what we calling you, Knuckle Sandwich?
Knuckles.
Knuckles. Okay.
Oh man, but no, this
actually Knuckles wouldn't be a bad one.
Knuckles ain't a bad one, man. Yeah, no, this season of Agency been dope, man. What was interesting or intriguing to me, Live, you talked about how they shot it. Did you recall the very first season was a narrative? Like it was Martian narrating in the background. We weren't certain whether he was a reliable narrator or not. And it ends with him folding to the Brits, right?
Yeah.
Like he's talking to the lady in the exam. And this season, they went away from that entirely. So I think that was a little cool change up as well from a directorial standpoint, like why they decided to do that and how they went about doing it was really cool.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of signs that they literally said, how can we make this better? Because a lot of shows don't make these, and they released everything at once. I think they were so confident in what they released that they want people to just binge it and get committed and invested again.
I think some of that may have also been the first season being so slow. Some people tap out.
Yes, exactly.
And they don't make it to the end.
And
like, well, let's give them Yeah.
they wanted to reassure you, like, look, we made some tweaks. Go ahead,
Yeah.
binge it, and get
Yeah.
reinvested, and
Probably
we'll.
don't help that Lioness is on Paramount too. They
Yeah.
probably been like,
Yeah.
and this is one of the well, I guess they still get to keep it when Taylor Sheridan leaves because all his stuff stays, and then he,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because season 3
start.
coming out later this year.
Yep.
yeah, I think it's like
That was
next
a couple
month,
weeks,
yeah.
didn't it?
Next
Yeah.
month? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a couple weeks for real.
So I think that put a little bit of pressure on it too, and they were like, "Man, is it a way?" And then even like people didn't seem to necessarily watch it, and they, it might have been forgotten about, but stuff like The Jackal, where it kind
Mhm.
of balanced action with the intrigue. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think they just decided to step it up. But that last scene, man, when him and Viking were at the
Yeah.
table playing chess,
Like, yes.
Yeah.
and Viking was like, "All right, man, who are you?" And they're just going back and forth, and like you, like, man, is he going to blow himself up? He going to blow everybody up? Is he going to be able to escape? He almost made it.
Yeah, but
So
even
did
the
they
sparring that he also went through with different agents is always honest to who that agent is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the British guy who was his handler, who kind of got him to defect, he is like they just do a good job making you see how good he is.
Yeah.
Right.
And that he's almost better than Martian. And
Right.
then when him and Martian start getting back and they at odds now,
Yep.
it's almost like Martian redeemed. It's like he just took it to another level.
Mhm.
And like, I like storylines like that. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool. Like he wasn't a victim no more. He turned the
And you
tables.
see in
So
the spycraft, like having any type of leverage or information that the other person either doesn't know you have
Right.
or that you can hold over their head kind of
Right.
keeps them at a disadvantage. And you kind of saw that back and forth with that's why the British guy was able to get over on Martian.
Yeah.
But once he had Sammy back and he found out that he was, selling them out to the
The Chinese.
China,
Which
yeah.
we didn't know either. We
Yeah.
thought he working for the Brits the whole time.
He was
And
like,
really,
all right, they
Yeah.
kind of we're allies. So
right.
So question for everybody, but I'm interested in Law's opinion specifically, because you just mentioned it. Who is Martian the clear-cut best spy in this joint? Like, I know we see him the most, but like you said, the British dude, before he met his demise, seemed like, he was just as good as Martian. Henry is
I
a
feel like
great
Henry is-
detective,
yeah.
Right.
at least.
Jim Gordon.
Gremlin, right. Gremlin is on her way. She got a lot of
Yeah.
potential.
Rookie of the year.
Like I like who was your favorite or the best, quote unquote, best spy in this joint to y'all? Is it hands down Martian?
I think it's pretty clear that they're showing that he is Kobe and Henry is Phil Jackson. He can coach that kind of talent, but he ain't
Right.
that talented.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
He
saying?
ain't got that
He's
talent.
wise
Yeah.
enough to understand who Martian is and direct him and support him.
So who is Richard
But
Gere?
he also smart enough to know,
Jerry
Uh,
Buss.
Jerry
Jerry
the
Buss.
owner,
Okay.
Jerry Buss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bosco.
Yeah, Bosco. Bosco whole shit be doing whatever they want. He don't really be knowing.
Yes,
I
he
think
does.
he relies a lot on.
Yeah, that's
You
why he
know,
like just the owner. Like as long as y'all bring home the W and get the goal,
Yeah.
he
Right,
like,
right.
we won, right?
And he means necessary.
Yeah.
Naomi kind
Now,
of cool.
Naomi,
Naomi's a piece.
I was about to say they
was
sort of
Martian
making
originally.
it like
Oh, the one that handled
Yeah.
Martian? Yeah, she is cold. But see, I think
so
I look at her more like I look at
Naomi's
Henry
Kyrie
too.
Irving, where it's like that's the young buck who don't really know. She kind of could be on Kobe level if she just get to the point where
Yeah.
it's like she really lets go of some of her stuff. And I liked how they explored that
And she
later in
told
the
her to
season
stop.
because she was hooked to
She-
Martian more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
And
underrated person who we should not forget about is Osmond.
Yeah.
Osmond
Osman.
is
Osman is a little
the
black hair,
Osmond.
big hair. Black.
yeah,
with
The African dude. The
Oh,
African
the
guy
Sam-
was
Sammy's
House of the
handler.
Dragon.
handler.
Yeah.
Oh,
From
yeah.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
he was cold too.
Yeah, kudos
Is
to
it
him.
Osman or
man.
Usman?
Martian
Usman.
should have killed him real quick
Their
though.
weaknesses, like he was a little bit too ruthless. You know what I mean? And with the way that he dealt with Sammy, if he'd have as a handler, dealt with her with more tender love and care. And what's the lady's name that we were just talking about? She wears her heart on her sleeve too much. Like she
Naomi?
can't. Naomi,
Or
she cared so much about Gremlin and everything else.
Yeah.
Like that was her Achilles heel. And then
Yeah.
Martian didn't have one until Sammy.
Gremlin
Sammy's-
Gremlin got an Achilles heel too. She don't know how to pace herself. She want to jump in head first, even when
Gremlin
she's not
had-
ready.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
I think she can be a little overzealous at times.
I loved how they made that switch for our expectations because I didn't notice it at first when she realized that the dude that she trying to get in his head was already working with the Asians or the Chinese.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
okay, this is not, I can't remember the terminology they used, but they were essentially like, this is not just plain espionage now. Now this is a life or death situation, but they used a specific terminology for it. And I thought that was real tight because it was like,
do be
nah, now
liking
you
that.
in danger at all times.
And some of that is to educate the viewer so we
Yeah.
understand what's going on. But I like how Henry, every time he did something, he would sit down with him, like with Owen, with her, with whoever. Like, yo,
I thought Henry was
getting into, like, you can say no,
yeah.
but just so you know.
and see, I thought Henry was one of the best ones of the group, probably in big part because he's just a great actor.
Yeah.
But I when you do the Phil Knight comparison, he really was like getting in their minds more than he was actually out there doing the espionage stuff himself.
Yeah,
So it makes sense.
He got his own resume, just like Phil Jackson played in the league and all
Right.
that.
Right.
But he just ain't that. I don't think
He
he's
probably
that
was
kind of a
like,
talent.
yeah, he was like, I can't jump through
Right.
these windows and stuff like these other dudes, but I'm smarter than all of y'all.
Yeah. And if we gonna keep it a bean, he probably didn't get opportunities given to him.
Absolutely.
That-
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But I also like Blair, and I like her storyline that they're showing her in a very
Which one?
nuanced way.
Which one is Blair?
She's the
That's Owen's
Arabic-
girlfriend?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like her
agent.
too. Yeah,
And they show that she really isn't good enough.
yeah
And
her
Bosco's
loyalty.
Bosco is literally all but like, you ain't gonna be here that long. Like, I'm really
Yeah.
ready to fire you. Like, you're just not good enough. But
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all noticed it. She was showing facial expressions when Bosco was lying to the director of national security or whatever. McNulty from
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
From The Wire.
and
From the-
after the meeting, I'm like, why would she tell like that with her face? And then he reamed her out about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this show is good. I mean, I'm just really happy with this season. Like, I really enjoyed
Her
it.
I think her biggest problem is it's probably her biggest strength and weakness, her loyalty. She attached too
She
hard.
is, yeah.
Yeah, she get
She
too
got a lot
attached.
to learn.
Yeah.
But I like
Yeah.
that Martian started saying, do you want to learn? Like, I
Yeah,
did. Like,
yeah.
and she just like, yeah.
But
and
then
that's-
she immediately attaches to Martian too much. Like
Yeah.
now he can do no wrong to her. Like it's
Yeah.
Which
This-
is
this
the
show-
game. That's why Love and John get the spy trade. We be knights.
right, exactly.
Like, because it's no honor in there, and I think she's a little too honorable. Like, she
Yeah.
really is idyllic and wants to do the right thing. Where, you know, sometimes the right thing is the wrong thing in this game.
Yeah. So,
Th-
John,
this-
why have you not talked about Dr. Blake?
Dr.
at
Blake, I
all?
was getting ready to say it.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, cook.
No, so the comparison I was getting ready to make with this was to House. I don't know how many of you, I know Dane watched House, I believe, the TV episode, the show about the
Loved it.
doctor.
Loved it. Excellent show.
Like the whole show is not really about obviously treating the patients is the obvious thing in whatever case they have, but it's them trying to figure out each other's motives each episode and why they're acting and behaving a certain way.
Yeah.
And I thought what added to the complexity of this is Dr. Blake is excellent at her job and what she does, but she's having to do it with the worst possible people ever, right?
The heart,
And so watching them in them sparring sections, that scene with her and Henry,
Yeah, I
when they
love
were
that one.
sparring,
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God,
good.
it blew my mind, man, because I was like, Henry is good. Like, he
Yeah,
is
he
really
is.
good because he
Right.
is beating all the little tricks she's trying to throw
Right.
at him. And he's just seeing right through it. And I was just like, man, I really appreciate that. Again, a lot of times whenever you see psychology on screen, it's sloppy. It's something like somebody can just plug in Google and just regurgitate some stuff. But this, you can tell they've spoken with an expert about
I was
how
gonna say they have to have a consultant.
they
sitting.
have to.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But no, it's just excellent writing, man. Like
That's dope.
every just watching her work and watching her speak to these people and how she's redirecting them and just that core that conversation.
Yeah.
It's excellent, man. I don't have anything bad to say about
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for people listening, John, do you I guess for me, I was just sort of like, yeah, this is a continual person who has to ensure that the agents are constantly being assessed, but also maintaining, sort of like their viability in the field and helping them get back right. And that's how we get introduced to her working so closely with Martian. Do you suspect that like these are real people that like are really out there in the CIA doing this, like, you know what I mean? Like with agents and stuff and have the highest clearance and just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
sure.
And what is most intriguing to me, and I think we saw it in the first season, was her being able to accept the fact that these people are a little off, and we can
Yeah.
accept a little bit off, just not too much off,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like, how do they find? Because I don't know the research behind what they do, that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I forgot what
how
she
much
said. She
how much antisocial can you be? And
She said
because-
something like it's only two type of people who do this work. I forget
Yeah.
the second one, but she was like, it's the other one is like you don't even want to be a person, like
yeah,
or something
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of dope.
It was something like people who don't care about people and people who don't even want to be one of the sheep or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, John, could you do that? Like, if that came across
Man, he would love that.
I would love it.
that
If
shit.
I would love that if I got that type of training.
Him
I
and
would
Love
love
2
it.
peas in a pod. With that. Like, you said me and you knights, them Bahamas.
I could see him doing that. Like, oh yeah.
It's
Yeah, 'cause
funny. I actually explored that as a career, not with the CIA, but a psychologist who works in a particular occupation. Who that's what you work with is keeping people together and like helping them through it. Like where you don't see clients, you literally work in house to keep
Right.
people together. And the FBI and CIA were some agencies they recommend that you could get those kind of careers. Obviously, I ain't do that, but
James, the only thing that would make that job better for John is if they let him strap up and be like the third line of defense.
Right.
like just in case everybody else get to go down, you get to go in the field.
Hey, Bosco, man, listen, you think I could, y'all, I heard this next mission y'all got. Ain't nobody got to shoot. We just got to sneak in and sneak out.
Right.
You think I can go with y'all? I promise you, I ain't going to say nothing.
Just give me some camouflage.
Right.
Just gonna be in the trees.
Oh man, this wasn't intentional. I'm glad I'm enjoying this conversation. Should we rate this now that we spent this much time on it?
Yeah.
Is it worth a rate?
Yeah.
Go ahead, y'all. What would y'all say? Dane, I actually want to hear from Dane first because he was, late to the party on this one and hard to come around. But
So it's hard for me because I watched the whole thing straight through. Sort of like you did with Game, I mean, it's only 2 seasons and we got more. So to me, it was just one continuous show because the joint didn't really have a time jump or anything. Season 1 ended and season 2 picked right up like 2 days later.
Yeah.
So it feels like one, long season to me. The second half of the season just flowed a lot better than the first half of the season did. So I'm probably, if I try to separate the two, I would probably say for season 1, I would give it a 6.5, maybe I would probably give it a 6.5 for the first season.
Ouch.
And for just, I mean, it wasn't great,
what about
outstanding
you?
to me. It was slightly above average to me. And for this season, I probably somewhere between 7.5 and an 8. I struggle with saying a 8, but when I say 7.5, I'm like, well, then it feels like I'm being harsh on it. So I'll say 8. I'll say 8 for the second season.
They don't get a half point for showing you who Storm should be.
That's why it's not a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of, I'm mad at DeWanda Wise right now after you sent me that. It's like a year too late.
But
now
did
she
you
want to
see
be
season 1, how when she would go to those sort of meetings, how they dressed her all regal? And like African,
Oh,
like,
I'm all for. I mean, I've been on the Jodie Wise as far as the look.
That really did it to me for me though. Like that season 1 was like,
Jodie Turner Smith has the perfect look for Storm,
How many
and
labels did
she's
she
proven
actually
she
put
can.
her? Did she learn that just for the show, or is she fluent in
No,
RT or whatever?
She started her life in like British, and then
Okay, so
moved
she
to the
probably knows.
DMV. Like,
Yeah.
oddly
So
enough.
I think she grew up, a lot of African families are in Europe.
Yep.
So I think she had a close ties to her African culture when she was growing up in Europe, but she moved to DMV and,
But I think
like
I don't think she's African. I think they're Jamaican.
Because
She might
I've
be.
heard her.
So you talking about her nationality and ethnicity are different. Yeah.
There's
Which,
a show she did where she
again,
did a Jamaican accent.
it's true though. That what Dane said is still true. It's a lot of Jamaican immigrants and in the UK or whatever. But I just still think
I
it's
didn't
super
realize she was
impressive
Jamaican. I thought it
how
was
authentic she comes across.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I've seen her do a Jamaican accent on another Apple show that I was watching, and it's like, man, good.
Yeah.
It felt like she didn't have enough to do this season, though.
Not at all.
They
She didn't. Except for
keep a
getting
hood
beat
on her
up.
head.
Right. Yeah. Good actress. I was like, dad, because that first season she was so involved. This one, as much as I liked it, they did reduce her role significantly.
It's funny though. I actually liked her acting job better in season 2 than season 1, even though she did less. Because in season 1, she was a little more free flowing and didn't seem to realize she was in the danger she was in.
Yeah,
Season 2, she actually had to react to that trauma and that danger. And I was, I was convinced that she really was like breaking down when they was putting the gun up and shooting near her and all that stuff. So I think even though it was less, I think she did a better acting job in season 2.
James, what you got on this? What's your rating?
8.5 for this season. I enjoyed it.
I concur. I'm right there with you. 8.5. It's solid. I mean, it's slow, and I think that's the problem. You know what I mean? Like if the pacing was a little bit better, then I feel a lot at least a half a point better.
Season, now that I knew the characters a little bit more, and even when they were doing some of the spycraft stuff, it felt like there was some suspense there. Like you were like, "Oh, are they gonna get caught? What's gonna happen?" And then the conversations was like so back and forth. Like everybody, it was like when Martian was in the room, it was him versus this person, or this person versus this person. So even in those dialogue moments, I was like watching the finish match.
They also did a much better job in season 2 of making everybody else important.
Yes.
Like you did not feel the gravity of the other characters. I didn't know how important Gremlin was going to be after season 1 ended. And like some of those ancillary characters that I just didn't think that Owen's girlfriend was going to be somebody that I cared about in this show until season 2. So
and I don't know if I have somewhat of a recency bias because I really enjoyed this season, but I feel confident going with a 9. A lot of that is because the casting for this type of a show is like low key phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a great cast.
Richard Gere, it's some real heavy hitters in here. And Dane just talked about Jodie's sort of Turner Smith's. Like, I just think the combination of like really good writing, character development, which we maybe had to go through in season 1 to make it pay off more. I just think I largely attribute a lot of that because I thought they found more balance in the action and the suspense. I thought they leaned a lot more into that balance. So I can't really fault this show in a lot of ways.
I wonder if this is one of those shows that, or seasons, or shows, I guess, that when you watch season 2 and if you were to rewatch it, all over again, that it just makes season 1 better. You know what I mean? Because you start seeing some of the things that you might not have noticed before, because they're very subtle with the way that they do things. And if you're not intently listening to this dialogue and the conversation, you might miss just a little something. You know what I mean? That actually plays out later.
I almost feel like his daughter is more of a plot device because I almost feel like she's a distraction and not as necessary, but maybe they felt like, well, he need to have something to live for, like, or something. Maybe they just felt that way.
She
but
could have still been a college student. Who coming home to a 17-year-old making mixed drinks talking about, let me get one too? Like,
and that's like, it's just some of that relationship I kind of could do away with. If I had to, like,
I wish I would come in my apartment, my 17-year-old daughter boyfriend butt naked, holding the knife.
What's the legal drinking age?
18, I think, but she ain't that. So
did you
so
start
you
drinking,
you
Dane?
coming to well, I was doing it very illegally when I should not have been doing it.
Yeah, let's talk about your St. Ives. What's them little fruity St. Ives joints we used
Oh,
to drink?
nah, it wasn't even St. Ives. I drink alcohol at 14.
Exactly.
2020.
But I mean, like
Oh,
when he, that's what threw me when he came in the house and the boyfriend was butt naked walking around his house. Like you with a 17-year-old girl, you walking around her daddy house naked like that, like this.
he just separated and detached from her, man. I guess he don't understand how to have a healthy relationship. But I think to Law's
Neither
point,
does she, clearly.
yeah, I think that was the point that she's supposed to serve. I just don't feel it'll care about it. I think it's to try to ground Martian in a way, or bring out his personality, or show something about what he comes from. But
he was still
it's
so
like,
calm through all of that.
Yeah, he's just Jason Bourne to me, right? Like, let's just get to the fighting, man.
Remember, did they say what happened to the mother? Like, are they just divorced?
Nah, she just be like, he'd be like, go stay at your mom's house tonight.
Yeah.
They don't even. So I maybe it's only me, but did the Viking die?
Yeah, you got to assume so.
Yeah, you right. They didn't really give us clear closure, but I saw the body was like halfway.
Yeah.
Okay, because he
just showed it so quick.
He ducked and survived. So I'm like, how do I know the Viking ain't ducked the other way and survived?
Yeah, if you could kind of see the whole top half of his torso is gone. So, but it was so quick. I was like, they should have made sure we saw that.
We saw that.
I was thinking that one. Yeah.
But I kind of like that because if you have a drone strike or a bomb, like you think
what confirmation do you have, right?
And that's when they're like, hey, 98% confirmation.
Right.
And then you wait for your spies to kind of get that intel back that like, confirmed kill,
Yeah.
All right, man. This is what the people came here for.
This is what Dane came here for.
This is what
that video of him.
This is what Bishop came here for. What are we waiting on? So James, because I don't have a setup prepared. I'm sorry. Vampire, I don't have a setup prepared for this. I need you to help the audience get ready for what it is we get ready to discuss. X-Men 97 Season 2, other than the fact that your man is no longer writing on it, but he is getting his writing credit still. Tell us what we need to know about X-Men 97 Season 2, James. What you got prepared?
What I do like about everything they've done with X-Men 97 is that it's a straight up continuation, kind of like we said we just had with the Agency, where it just flows right into the next season. It picks up with factions of the X-Men, all time displaced at different parts of time. And we find out they're in these locations to impact Apocalypse and prevent him from becoming the world destroyer that he eventually becomes. So different factions of the X-Men are at different times. This is an easy setup for me because I can hand to Dane because I literally was excited to come to this podcast to ask questions because there's some stuff.
Me too. That's it. I got so many questions. I got more questions than that.
Like, man, I'm asking.
Maybe
Dane.
I need to go in the storage room and pull out some of the comic books. make sure I get y'all the proper answers.
But what y'all think about the first few episodes? I definitely enjoyed it.
Don't wait for me. Go ahead and speak
everybody
up.
wants to go ahead, Lav. I know Lav got some tell us about the show.
I wanted to hear Jonathan.
Okay, so on one hand, I appreciate them going with a time dimensional, sort of like James called it, where we're displaced, we're looking at different teams. So it's more of a disjointed timeline oriented sort of story versus what I think the format was before, which was more episodic when we were kids in the 90s. And it was just a different villain every episode. And I felt like season 1 kind of took us on a slower build towards this, but like it was still a little bit more episodic and of traditional one team, one unit. This feels a little chaotic. And maybe that's why James and you, John, saying y'all got so many questions. It's a little all over the place, and you got to kind of read between the lines. You got to pay attention to the details. But I really think we all can agree Apocalypse is a dope villain to be at the center. Yeah. There are some things bothering me with culture, race. It's a lot of stuff that's just inconsistent that I kind of wish
they use in.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff I feel like in this day and age, they had an opportunity to clean up. Maybe not in the 90s so much, but like in 2026, like you can kind of clean some of that stuff up. And I feel like they kind of fail in the do.
They ain't got to clean none of that up no more, Love.
Well,
Yeah.
Don't you start. We're not doing that today. Bishop.
Right. Yeah. So, but it's still quality because I think in comparison to the traditional children's animation shows, this stays still very mature. There's people that can die. There are high costs, high stakes. There's them trying to get in front of Apocalypse and do it in a way that's genuine and sincere, albeit that backfires on them because he finds out, oh, y'all already knew who I was. Now I know who I am, and it's over for y'all. So, I think it's cool. I think I'm going to have to watch the rest of it to really have a sort of like solid stance on how I feel like this season really is. But so far, I'm just like kind of like I'm enjoying it, but I'm not like loving it the way I love season 1.
Speaking of stuff they cleaned up, could they have at least changed Apocalypse's outfit? Like, why we gotta get the big letter A on his belt, bro? That joint is so cheesy.
Exactly,
now.
bro.
Not done that. They changed Magneto's outfit the entire first season. Why not?
So
I don't even understand. All right, so let's start there. How does his uniform work? Why Magneto cannot manipulate Apocalypse because he looks like a big chunk of metal? Why does he have these cords coming out of his back? Like it's almost like breathing tubes. Like what purpose do they serve?
Technology.
I know that was the original.
There's no explanation, but it's technology.
Yeah, it's just a certain type of technology that his uniform uses. There's no explanation for it with regard to
at any point. They never explained.
Not that I've ever read or heard about. The thing that to speak to Law's point about this seemingly being just like one long story that's all over the place, I think that is because back in the day when we had this show, we were getting 26 episode seasons once a week for 26 weeks, and they had to go all over the place, but they had the occasional episode here and there that was on the path that we were going to for the season finale. And then you would have 3 episodes in between that was just random Mojo World, nothing to do with the joint. And they started that way to give us that old nostalgic feel. But if you really look at it, the 10 episodes last season and the 10 episodes this season still ain't even a full season of how it was back in the day. So they still trying to tell the same story that they started in the first season, and this is probably the meat of it now, and then we'll probably have some episodes that aren't specifically directly in the Apocalypse line coming up. Like the Wolverine joint that we get in probably the next episode. It's probably gonna be one of those ones that's not directly in line with
when does that take place? I don't even know. Like where are they?
It's the 90s.
But no, Wolverine had the
bone claws. Yeah. So it has to take place when they come back because the X-Men in the future came back. Right. So that has to be the first thing he does after he comes back. I think the point of them being time displaced was their way of saying, okay, we're not just going to have the same story every episode for 4 episodes. We're going to have one story in the future that doesn't necessarily affect what happened in the past. So it still feels like we got anthology type episodes, but we all know that this all is telling the Apocalypse story. So it's really not that. One of the things that bothered me to what you were saying, John, about Apocalypse is they sort of rushed it. Like even though Apocalypse gets his powers from going on the ship, he don't get like full knowledge of who he's going to be in the future like that. He's still supposed to do all of those things to become Apocalypse. To he has these powers, but like, what do I do with this now? Oh, I can change my size now, and I got this uniform that they put on me. But like, he completely knew exactly who he was. I was like, so we just skipping all of the years that it took for him to get to be in this person.
And again, maybe I got a little bit like, was that Apocalypse's ship that they got on?
So that was, if you remember back in the 92 series, 92 to 96, there was a ship that Beast got on when they were trying to stop Apocalypse. They found his spaceship that he flew around on when he wasn't in Cairo, like hibernating or whatever. He had a ship that he would go, he traveled to in outer space and stuff too because of the celestial connection. And the X-Men discovered it when he was in hibernation and went on the ship and tried to like put a virus in there so when he came back it would kill him. That was the ship. And apparently I don't know, I can't remember the specifics, but apparently the ship can travel through time or it exists in all of time. So when stuff that
That's what
happened
I
in the
thought. I
future
thought when he
still
stepped into that
is present in the
little box
past.
or whatever, like,
Yeah. So it's
divulged everything to him. What kind of
right.
confused me was them introducing Kang at the same time, and I was like, did Kang manipulate the ship, or was that all
So
Apocalypse's time travel stuff?
this is what makes this season in particular a little difficult for comic book readers.
Non-comic book readers.
No, comic book readers.
Okay.
Because they're doing
If y'all struggling with it.
No, it's not difficult to follow. It's difficult when you know how the story actually went and you see how much they're changing.
Mm-hmm.
So like the stuff in the future with Rachel Summers being the one that brought them to the future, that's cool, but never did they tell Cable who they were. And all the rest of them X-Men weren't there. It was just Jean and Cyclops, and they went by Red and Slim.
Mm-hmm.
So if you loved that Red and Slim story and you're watching this, you're like, yo, they are butchering this story.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get to the past. Kang was there. He wasn't Kang. He was Rama Tut.
Yeah.
If you look at Quantumania, that ending scene where there was like 4 versions of Kang, one of them had on a Pharaoh's hat. With that was him.
Mm-hmm.
That was
at
his
least
character.
that one was black.
Yeah. So,
because Ramatut shouldn't look like Tom Hanks.
but you know
sorry.
Kang in the comics is a white dude. So
I know, but like this is what I mean by like they knew they wanted to do Kang.
Right.
They know they've established a black Kang in the MCU.
Right.
It just was you could have made him brown.
They could have made Apocalypse light brown. He an Egyptian, but they ain't what.
But they even said, but see, with Apocalypse, all of it is about his appearance. He looks like a mutant and all of that. So I'm cool with that.
So he looks different. Yeah.
But then they gave him sort of like this black voice actor.
I hate his voice.
Well, I don't even know if he's
voice.
black, but they intentionally try to make it sound like someone who's maybe like got some African or Egyptian sort of accent.
Right.
But then Ramatut talked like, you know, and it was just a lot of stuff that I felt like they could have.
Ramatut's a colonizer. That's all.
Yeah.
He came in and you know, I'm a put on your garbs and your clothing so you accept me, but I'm colonizing.
That was the part that got me. Did y'all understand what Kang's goal was? Was he just wanting to the timeline right?
So he actually legitimately was there in the comic books, and in the comic books, I think Kang's goal outside of how they use him in the MCU, Kang's goal essentially is I want to be the supreme ruler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so anywhere in time that the world can be taken over, I'm trying to go there and have them worship me, treat me like I'm a human god. Like I'm the emperor of everything. So mutants throughout time wasn't an impediment to him being successful at that goal. So what better way to prevent that than to go back to the first mutant and subjugate him? So now I got mutants from day one under me working as my slaves and my quote unquote horsemen or whatever you want to call them. They my subjects. So go to the first mutant who happens to be immortal and one of the most powerful mutants to ever live.
That's the part that I read was that he knows the power that Apocalypse will eventually hold. So he wanted to go to basically raise him as his heir.
Yeah.
So he would be seen as almost like his pseudo father.
Right.
And have the most powerful mutant sort of under his guise as not only just like I'm over you, but like I'm your dad, like you.
Yeah, he wanted that extreme loyalty, that extreme and then Apocalypse going to bring other mutants under him, which is now under Kang, and we going to rule over this world forever. Apocalypse is going to live forever, and I travel through time.
But even me and Dane saying that, to me, that's worthwhile of just an episode of itself. Just setting that up.
Right.
And that just speaks to the fact that this is disjointed and they're rushing a lot of these stuff. And they're just progressing and advancing the storyline in a way that I think is just like they're skipping over context.
Well, remember
the problem
they
is that
Bo DeMay, was named Bo DeMay.
Bo DeMay.
They changed his story, right? Like then they go in and
not completely
studio.
Not
well,
completely,
to some, but maybe that's why it feels disjointed. Maybe they touched it too much and should have.
That's also not really an X-Men story. That's an Apocalypse story, and I don't know how many people really want to tune in to watch an episode of X-Men with no X-Men in it. That's
I
just
mean, I
Apocalypse
think that you could
Kang.
just set if you're gonna bring Kang into it, it's like you could at least just set the foundation with Kang because I think you were doing that with the whole MCU.
Right.
So, but what it almost ultimately looked like was Kang popping up, saying his due diligence about what he want to do, then seeing Apocalypse sort of like grow up too
Power
quick,
up.
and him
Yeah.
being like, "All right, I'm
All
out.
right. Yeah.
See y'all.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Gotta go."
So something I didn't understand, and I don't know if it made sense to you all, it was just poor writing, was it, Kang had, or the Ramatut had inferred his intent to get to that power, to that spaceship or whatever, that craft.
Right.
Mhm.
He used some type of mind telekinesis thing, and he was having a conversation with Professor X,
Yeah,
right?
he had his own little Cerebro.
He had his own little cerebro. To that extent, Ramatut was aware, it seemed to me on screen, that he was aware of where the ship's location was.
Right.
So
I
why
didn't
didn't
get
he
that
just
either.
go after it? Why
I
did
didn't
he
get that
wait?
either. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. I think, like, why didn't he beat them to the chase if he was there for that the whole entire time?
Yeah.
And how was he intending to use the celestial power? That was my
They
question.
made him seem like he was more interested in getting to Apocalypse than the ship.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden, when he knew he couldn't have the ship and Apocalypse powered up, he was out. So it was like, well, I mean, why not just befriend Apocalypse from the beginning
Right.
That's what I was
instead
like,
of trying to make him your slave?
slave,
And then
yeah.
you're a time traveler, so I mean,
You are aware of what was going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
I
what
also
RKP is.
know that they're not doing the multiverse thing here. So I think they're trying to do as little back and forth in time to avoid us taking it to that place in our minds because we've
Sure.
been
Yeah.
through so much of it in the MCU.
Mhm.
I thought they could have at the very least set up Kang better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it was just like they thought it was cool. Oh, we have a Kang cameo. People gonna love this just because Kang is actually there. But
Mhm.
they ain't really do nothing
And
with it.
to your point about us like wanting to watch X-Men, it's like I'd rather watch that about Kang to build the story than watch them do a whole episode with Jubilee and her powers just being elevated. I mean, I know that there
The
has been
sparkles.
some revision
Yeah.
in the comics and stuff as of late to make her
Eventually
more
got pretty strong.
legitimate. But like that whole episode was her doing like real kung fu, like John Wick with firecracker powers. Like I was like, I don't remember this Jubilee,
So
man.
Right.
so
Right.
Jubilee, I think the problem with Jubilee is something that they created themselves in the comics. They wanted Jubilee to be the cute kid and a Wolverine Cyclops and the
Sidekick.
Wolverine sidekick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got you.
I don't know
Um,
why they decided that Jubilee should be important, but for
Right.
whatever reason they did do that. And I just I don't like when characters are sort of elevated that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be expected that she's a powerhouse. And you know, they gave her spotlight or whatever. But I think that just goes to a little bit of my critique is like I think X-Men is peak when they are basically special ops teams that go in to save mutants. And when Charles Xavier is doing Martin Luther King, that's part of the context. But this was a lot of him doing I Have a Dream with Apocalypse, crawling around on his stomach.
Yeah, I was with
Right.
Sean there a lot. I was gonna ask Dane that too, because he seemed depowered a little bit at times, because there's some
Yeah.
read the comics and when it comes to psychic ability, even though, Ramatut had like the cerebro superpower and
And
all that.
Apocalypse has some too, yeah.
Yeah, but
But
it just
Charles
seemed
supposed to be that guy, like
exactly. And it
yeah.
seemed like they was kind of brushing him off a little easier than I expected. So
I mean, how many times have we seen Charles try to go in someone's mind and go, like
Right. Like, I can't do
like,
it.
yeah,
Right.
it hurts.
that same
I'm like getting tired of that. Like,
Yeah. To that point,
My bad.
you know how we can't stand the power fluctuations or
yeah.
inconsistency. they sort of tried to do that with Magneto. Tried to. Like, he was redeemed a little bit
Yeah,
at
a
the
little
end.
bit, yeah.
But the end of the last season, this dude was carrying a planet around. And then they
Right.
made it seem like he was struggling to do what he needed to do at this. I'm like,
Yeah,
why would he?
yeah.
He
Yeah,
just carried a planet around. Like, he got the power. He's an
Yeah.
Omega level mutant. What are we doing?
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the writers writing power sets to fit their narrative.
The narrative, right.
Yeah.
Because it ruins a character for you, or it makes you think, like, nah, they not like that. And everybody else looking at you like, nah, you crazy. Like,
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it just creates unnecessary confusion.
Dane, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask, what'd you think about X-Force and X-Factor, or this
So,
iterations of them? 'Cause,
so there's a
you've seen
lot of
before.
things in all of this that are like really nods to the comics, and
Right.
it's a lot of dope stuff. But if you nitpick it,
Exactly.
then you're like, well,
Yeah.
like,
Technically.
did Rachel Summers cause them to go to the past? Just
Right.
like she said she brought them to the future. How did they get to the past? They never answered that. And then like the X-Force thing, my only thing with that is like, why did you choose those particular
Yes,
characters?
exactly.
Like
Yes.
it's funny because they mention X Factor by name, they mention X Force by name, but then they also had Generation X characters in there.
Mm.
They had New Mutants characters in there, which are essentially the first iteration of X Force. But the X Force that they showed was more like the Killer Squad, the Killing Squad, but they added Jubilee and Sunspot to that. Because Jubilee and Sunspot are not a part of it. That's Wolverine, Warpath, Psylocke, Archangel. Cable's been on that joint.
I did like
Deadpool.
seeing Psylocke. I thought she was dope in this.
Yeah. I like
Psylocke-
seeing X Factor. I don't know why, man. When they came out, I really liked X Factor. I don't know what it was, but I spent a
I
little
did too.
window of time really liking X Factor. So
Well, X Factor was, for a long time, they were the second team
yeah,
before they broke off and did like the government thing. Because at first, it was the original X-Men all became X Factor, and then they had the second team of X-Men. That was like Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler. They were the X-Men. And then Beast, Angel, Iceman, Jean, and Cyclops were X Factor. Then they went back to the regular X-Men, and then X Factor became Polaris, Havoc, and their team. So it's always been like the second team, but then now they're, even in the modern books, they are more like that's the team that's always working for the government. Because they don't know any other way to be.
As an artist who drew, I used to always draw comic characters, and I think I enjoyed X Factor for some reason. So I think that helped too.
I read all them joints, man. Like New Mutants to me was X Force until they changed the direction of the team, and I always liked all of those New Mutant characters, Cannonball, Sunfire, all of those characters. I liked all of them. And in Generation X, I was on that heavy. That was the team that they finally decided we need to pull Jubilee away from the sidekick role. They gave her own team, even though she wasn't the best one on the team. It was like she was the one we know already, and then they introduced a bunch of new.
Wasn't there some canon where in the future she becomes one of or more powerful, like closer to what she was in this show?
Yeah, she's Jubilee. There's a storyline where they say Jubilee mentally holds herself back because her powers are really like explosives.
Yeah, I think that's better for her to make sense of her even being on a team.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like Black Widow and the Avengers. It's like I don't think you should be on this team,
right?
Honestly.
Like, and there was that storyline where she mentally broke from what she was blocking herself, and then she was basically walking in rooms and just blowing stuff up, and people couldn't mess with her type of thing. But I mean, anybody that's supposed to be Wolverine's sidekick ends up being like a dope fighter, because that's why Kitty Pryde was so sick. Like Shadowcat is like a ninja, because
that's another one they leveled up, and in the future she has her own team, and she's like.
Well, she was Excalibur leader, her and Nightcrawler.
Excalibur,
that's another team. They didn't show it in the X-Force episode. But I mean, I like Cable. I've always liked Cable. I don't necessarily like what they're doing with Cable in this show as much as I do with like the comics. But him getting his own team and being able to do that was dope. And so it was a lot of nostalgia in that episode.
So let me just ask, Dane, you said something a few moments ago. Maybe I misunderstood you. I thought the Mother Ascani lady was the person who brought them
To the
back
future. Yes, that's
in the past.
That's Rachel Summers. Mother Ascani is Jean and Cyclops' son from a different alternate timeline.
Mother
Excuse me,
Ascani is
daughter. Daughter. Excuse
okay.
me. Rachel Summers she's essentially in a timeline where Jean and Cyclops had a biological child together, not the clone child. She was the child.
Got it.
So it was a girl instead of a boy, and it was Rachel Summers instead of Nathaniel Daysprings.
So why they call her Mother Ascani then?
Because she started the Ascani clan, and that's just what they refer to her as. That she was their elder.
Why they ain't love this stuff.
And she was this is the family. He's saying it already, right?
And then in the future, she ends up raising her little brother. He doesn't know that that's his. Actually, he's her big brother, technically, but she doesn't know. He doesn't know that that's my sister, and she's raising me and all of that.
So we don't know that either until you just told us. Like they didn't make that plainly. It's fine, but they didn't make that plainly in the
fact
episode.
That they like even in that storyline. Red and Slim never tell him that we're your parents. He actually meets Cyclops once he travels to the past, and they have conversation. He's like, "Yeah, y'all remind me so much of the people that raised me in the future." And then eventually, when he's old and gray, and his father and him are having real conversations, he tells him that was actually me and Jean. We got our consciousness gets transported to the future into those people, so they didn't even look like Cyclops and Jean.
Got it.
And we were able to raise you and watch you grow up that way. So he's like, "Oh, I always had my parents. I never thought I did."
So it is funny because you're referencing to this based on what you know.
No, yeah.
rather than what they're giving to us. And I'm just, so I'm curious, like, just
that's why I say it's hard for comic book readers to watch this joint sometimes because you
So
know
are you disappointed?
So
is that what?
No, because I don't expect, so just to reference my man Jermaine, like I used to, you know, he owns a comic book shop. This has been his life for 40 years now. He said back in 92, it was hard for him to watch it back then because he was like, this isn't really X-Men. So I know right now he probably pulling his hair out, like watching some of this stuff. But for me, it's not so hard because it's easy for me to separate the two because I sort of developed my love for both at the same time. The X-Men 92 cartoon and the comic books in itself. I didn't have money to be a collector until about 94. So I was well into the cartoon that started in 92 by the time I started collecting the books in 94 and read every storyline, you know, and then I had to go back and see some of the old stuff to read what actually happened. So it didn't bother me the same way it may bother some other comic book readers who, you know, had that first and are now seeing this.
Yeah, I think I'm more disappointed, not so much in like how they're choosing to tell these different stories, but I also think they did such a great job of making the fight choreography in season 1 so good. I think we got used to like such mid results from the animated series for X-Men that people were literally in shock at sort of the anime level approach to the characters in season 1. Haven't really been seeing that.
Well, Gambit gone, so you know.
Well, I mean, Cyclops with the jumping out of planes.
He was
like it just was like one little scene after another where they was making stuff so cool.
They had a little bit.
They haven't really done a lot of that either halfway through. So I think that's another.
So like it hasn't really been a whole lot of action. I mean, I guess they did some of the stuff with the X-Force, X-Factor.
And the first episode when they fought the Horsemen.
Yeah.
I think Charles getting knocked out of the chair.
Yeah, well, So the problem is when you fight an apocalypse, it's hard to get busy because he just punished everybody. And then you know they try to pull on the heartstrings in episode 4 of season 2 the same way they did in episode 5 of season 1. But if I'm being completely honest, it fell very short when Magneto got killed because this is the second time we've seen him get killed because he got killed in episode 5 of season 1 before Gambit got killed, and then they brought him back the next episode.
This death was kind of cold though. Like I did. It
was cold, but it did more for me to be like, Apocalypse right. Like they gonna make Apocalypse right more than it was like, dang, they killed Magneto.
Yeah, this is also, I think, revisiting Apocalypse is also sort of like incriminating the live action version of Apocalypse that we saw even more. it, like I even see more commentary online about how did they do this to this character, man? Like this is like more of a reflection of what he should be like.
with such a great actor too.
Yeah,
right.
It's
Well,
insane.
speaking of which, for the layman, where does Apocalypse powers actually come from? Because it looked like it was one of Rob's Celestials.
Yeah, he's
From
over.
the
He's over.
Eternals. But
I mean,
what was the point of that? The Celestial wants
So
the Earth to be reset.
So essentially, Celestials used to play in people's face.
Mhm.
To just play with human DNA and stuff like that, and that supposedly is where mutants originated from. They did the same thing to create Eternals and what's the other race, James? Black Bolt's race. What's that?
It's the Eternals and the gosh, man, what are they called?
I'll look it up. Y'all just keep it on.
Inhumans, yes.
Okay.
The Eternals, the Inhumans.
Y'all gotta stop acting like I don't know nothing, man. I know a little bit.
My bad. No disrespect into So yeah, they created the Eternals, which weren't robots in the comics like they were in the MCU. And then the Inhumans, which was a different race that the Celestials sort of created, and they live on the dark side of the moon. Just because they have a whole different process of how they gain powers and how they, maintain their culture and stuff like that. That's different from regular humans. And then they created mutants, which was supposed to be the quote unquote perfected route of human DNA mutating itself as they go through, puberty and stuff. And Apocalypse was the first one, so they like put all of the power in him just to see how it would turn out, and so which is why he like doesn't die and can like live on forever if he does certain things, and why he is so OP with his power.
Yeah, I also remember that he has sort of the ability to control his body at a molecular level, so he can change size, mass. He can create weapons out of his body. But he also has the ability to sort of, in another way, I think, adopt technology in a way that can be part of, like, almost his power set.
Yeah,
So,
Apocalypse
like, the
crazy.
Celestial ship gave him access to that transformative technology that was celestial technology. So it just a lot like Kang, where it's like he's so he has access to technology that's so advanced. It's like almost a way to give Apocalypse any kind of power he wants to have. Like it's just a way of describing something that allows him to just do anything. But then on top of that, he's supposed to be super Thor Hulk strong. Like, so he just basically, he's almost a catch-all. They just kind of make him lean into like making his arms weapons and him changing size most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's really not a lot he can't do.
Do y'all like though how they paying so much homage to the original, like say like the big letter A, his lips all super large and stuff, like the pipes coming out his back, like even him changing his hand to a gun, it just seemed like kiddie.
So it's funny. A lot of that stuff was more stuff they did for the cartoon, like the weapons that he chose to make his hand, so we could see him fighting or whatever. He don't really do like that type of change.
So what does he
in the
do
comics.
then? Does he just crush everybody because he's larger and stronger, or
he don't even really gotta get larger in the comics? He really just like that cold. Like y'all can attack me all you want. I'll just stand here and wait for you to get tired out and then crush your head. Like you,
I mean, that's typically what he's doing. That's how he's. And what is his purpose there? Is he driven just out of vengeance?
So in the comics,
everybody, or
in the comics, it's morphed throughout the years. So this is more in the show. It's more him wanting to rule over the human race, and survival of the fittest. So mutants are the fittest because we're the strongest.
But he
just
also
in Egypt, in that time in Egypt, there weren't any other mutants except for the X-Men. So he hadn't sort of adopted that, all of these humans can die because I have mutants here to rule the earth. So when more mutants start to evolve and show up, then that's when he sort of becomes like kill off humans.
But he's also like in a lot of ways, the way Thanos is like non-discriminatory, he just wants I don't care. It's just half of the population need to go away. Apocalypse is like survival of the fittest with mutants too. Like if you weak,
Yeah,
you need to
yeah,
go. Like it
yeah.
don't
He
matter.
tests.
You
Yeah,
don't have no loyalty to mutants. Like
so
Okay.
modern day Apocalypse comes. They say he originated from a society of the fittest mutants. Like he built a society of the fittest mutants, and they sort of secluded themselves from Earth. So when he disappears, that's where he is, and we just don't realize it. And he came back and brought all of them with him, and was sort of calling the mutant race to
Got
get
it.
rid of the weak and kill all of them.
Got it. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
If
yeah,
they
I
ever
think
get to that,
right.
Yeah, all in all, just kind of to answer your question, it's funny because when they introduced the T-1000 in Terminator 2, that always was a callback to me feeling like it was sort of an apocalypse type of thing.
yeah.
But I, again, just reflecting on like the MCU and then bringing in this whole mutant saga, they'll go back to apocalypse, I think. I think if they're doing Sinister sort of very early, I think you're going to build towards apocalypse.
Yeah.
And this storyline may come back where we've been introduced in the after credit scene to Avengers saying, Wolverine, you can't do this by yourself or whatever. I've also heard rumors that they really are planning to do X-Men versus Avengers. So
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I think Apocalypse getting a redo in the MCU would be, something to look forward to, but they got to do it right,
Generally, if Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, is around trying to capture Jean and Cyclops' DNA and do stuff with their DNA to create other mutants, it's generally because he's under the thumb of Apocalypse. He's trying to build something that can defeat Apocalypse so he can get from under it.
And
they don't have to start there, but I could see us finding out later, a couple of years later, like, oh, this is what Apocalypse was always in the shadows, and he was trying to get from under his thumb.
Who else would y'all like? For me, it's like if I'm gonna build a saga for for the Marvel universe to go through this sort of like next phase leading up to a big Avengers, I'm picking Apocalypse.
Yeah, no brainer.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I wouldn't do the Phoenix Saga is because it's so overdone. Because we've seen it so many times.
I don't care if we never see it again.
But there's so many parts of that joint that they have not done. Like they are saying now that they're going to introduce the Shi'ar. We have not seen the Shi'ar. Other than the cartoon, we have not seen the Shi'ar, and that's a big Phoenix Saga thing.
I think seeing the X-Men go into space and stuff is going to be a challenge. I'm very curious how they're going to pull it off.
I think they'll.
I heard that rumor. I don't know if I want that for the big screen or not.
I'm not against it. Maybe me and you on the same wavelength. I guess I don't trust that they can do it live action.
Yeah,
I think what the problem is they've introduced the interstellar aspect of the MCU, and now they don't want to get away from it. That's why they talk about Nova being the next solo character to pop up.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can't introduce the X-Men that's going to be huge and have them only on Earth if you're trying to develop all of this stuff at an interstellar level.
Yeah.
Who was the lady that was talking to Kang before he dipped out? He was like, "You'll find out later what your role is," and dashed her.
So I believe that is Apocalypse's first love.
Huh.
I thought that he fell in love with her before he became Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that's who that character is in the comics.
James, what was your name in Egyptian times? What did you go by?
In Sabanur.
Hey, and what I had one other question. Damn, you just made me lose my train of thought. It was something. Never mind. Go ahead. It'll come back to me. It had something to do with the show.
I know. All I know is if Gambit ain't back in at least 2 episodes, I'm gonna be flipping some furniture in this house.
That's it. My question was: are the rumors or the people's what is your response to people's assertion that they believe we're gonna see the Magneto and Professor X kind of.
You mean
yes,
what is that?
onslaught.
Onslaught.
Yeah.
I think that is a possibility. I don't think it's with what they've done so far. I don't see why they think that's coming this season. If they had like started the season with a Fantastic Four crossover,
Mm-hmm.
and then this stuff happened, I could see that possibly happening. I think people are in denial that we won't have Magneto for the rest of the season, and they think they got to bring Magneto back somehow. And it must be Onslaught because Xavier was the only one there with him, and maybe Xavier tried to save his consciousness. They reach it. And it's a great storyline, and it honestly could be a storyline that they do in the movies as well, because that invokes Bishop and Cable coming from the future to delve into the X-Men and the Fantastic Four having crossovers and all of that stuff, and they got the perfect setup for that in the MCU movies for Onslaught. But I think it's people wanting to. They don't want to believe that they're going to do the same thing with Magneto this season that they did with Gambit last season. It's just Magneto's gone. So what will be the logical next step to bring Magneto back? Oh, what if Onslaught is in Xavier's brain and by the end of the season he gonna pop out? But I don't think you need Onslaught when you got Apocalypse. Apocalypse is super crazy powerful. Like, why do you need Onslaught? I do think they sort of dropped the ball with Wolverine already this season, because Wolverine, just like Gambit, at one point was one of Apocalypse's horsemen. And for Wolverine, that occurred after they ripped the adamantium from his skeleton. He went completely feral. He couldn't even talk. And that's why he had the bandana over his face, because he was covering his face because he looked animalistic. He didn't look like Wolverine. So all of that stuff they did with Wolverine in the future with the scarf over his face, he's supposed to be like walking on all fours and just like cutting stuff up with the bone claws and not talking and grunting and growling and stuff like that. That's how he was in the comics. And then Apocalypse came and made him a horseman and sort of made him, what was it, War or Death? One of those two. And it sort of like fixed him once he got released from Apocalypse's hold. Then he became Wolverine again, and he had the metal again too. But they missed that opportunity in order to have an old ass Captain America cameo with Black Widow.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting where they go next, man. James, you got any other thoughts, any comments so far?
Nah, poor Wolverine, man. Over the years, he is lost, regained, and lost again.
Oh
his
yeah,
skeleton.
many times. Yeah, many times.
Ripping that adamantium off and on.
Yeah, so they doing the Weapon X stuff to give him the adamantium back.
Right.
Like y'all gave us 2 episodes of Wolverine with no metal, and one of them was just a cameo in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I will say too, Lost Boy, I do hope going forward we get more X-Men team up, them fighting and using their powers.
Well, they all will be in the present now. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a sloppy mess. Like I was expecting Rogue to take off her glove. I don't know if it would work if she could touch Apocalypse or something. Like why they don't go through what they do best.
Didn't they do that back in '92? Didn't she take off her glove and touch him, and then she went crazy? She started yelling and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I
thought they did that in '92.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it was probably like '94, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Y'all want to wrap here? Or y'all got any news?
No, I say we wrap.
Yeah. Bet. Cool. All right, man. Well, hey, this has been a great episode of Real Kings Podcast. Check us out everywhere you get your podcast. Also, make sure you like, rate, review, and subscribe. If you got any comments, any feedback you want to give us or share with us, any corrections to Dane, all the mistakes he made, Jermaine, please let us know so we can fry him next week. Till then, y'all
refer to me as Samurai, bro.
Go the polar bear. Let the polar bear know what he did wrong. Until then, y'all go see Odyssey. We'll have that review for next week and get in some of this House of Dragon. Take care, y'all. We love you. Peace.
Later.